putting the paw on this kind of heart. Wow. Okay. So this is the second video I'm making. Oh yeah, you can see it. So I'm a bit calmer, so it's getting better. The lighting is still strange and paws are still unfamiliar, but I will make it work. And you can see my beans. Great. I have been thinking a bit, and as you could see in the last video, I was trying to not get too much into a high level structured thinking. And I think for myself it's kind of something which comes from trying to be understandable and trying to be normal and fitting into a category which can be socially displayed. And I think that's okay and valid, but it also kind of limits myself to stay in a certain realm of inquiry. This is really close here. And what I would like to do, like I like that. I like having clean, concise chunks of knowledge which are understandable. But that is something different than limiting yourself, I think. What I'm looking for is a distillate, an extract, which condenses the whole volume of what I want to say into a beautiful and nicely packaged way. Not something that cuts off layers to make it smaller. I am hitting the thing. So this is still strange for me. I'm getting nervous and really hot. So I think it kind of plays into me trying to find a structure which aligns my life. Like, we are trained or brought up to believe that you need a structure to go somewhere, which is true to a certain extent, but kind of ignores the paradox of choice. Like, for every decision you could make, there is so much data to observe or take into account that making a rational decision based on the data is quite impossible. The variables we are using in social interactions are just way too much. They are not a confined space with 5 variables we can easily put into order, if that makes sense. Where was I coming from and where was I going? I got totally lost and sidetracked. So there is this urge to give structure, which is in itself not wrong. It's just something which I think, from doing the analysis of what is before me, that it is kind of a logical fallacy of sorts, but not really. It's the looking at the paradox and going, oh, that's scary, I can't analyze that, so I will not make a move at all. and try to go away from that as much as possible. I will cover it up with something that looks nice, and it's kind of like a warning tablet, warning sign. But for me, actually doing things, I would like to take that warning sign off, put it to the side, look at the paradox and go, oh, that's a paradox. So what does this mean now for me? Did I know, okay, there's a paradox. What do I do with that? So there are multiple options here. And I think a paradox is a great, how do I call it? Not a great choice, a great opportunity. Because it's basically self-referential, meaning it references itself, like a strange loop does. Strange loops are Escher-driven well. I am getting really hot, and I think you can hear it in my speech. Breathing, leaning back. Escher drew them really well. They're like pyramids, but they're going into itself, into themselves. He used them in a bunch of different drawings. Like the substructure, he used the substructure of the triangle and put it as back layer, which you could overlay with other images and symbolisms. This thing is really fucking hot. I need to put this is so fucking hot. Breathing. It's probably a scarf I'm wearing. Can you see it? I don't think you can see it. Where was I going? So there is a paradox, but we have options. What do we do with it? For me, basically it means I can discard the structure if I want to, which I would like to in the ego layer. The layer which says, okay, this is what I am operating as a person. It's the persona, the mask we wear for ourselves and against the culture. Which is also the fursuit. The fursuit is a persona mask. It has its own interesting psychology, which I can probably talk about sometime, when I'm not dying from a heat stroke. Reminder, drink water before making videos. Okay, I'm still quite nervous. Where was I going? The persona? I was somewhere with the persona. Oh yeah, the persona layer. I would like a layer of persona which basically, how do I call it, has the freedom to play. And that means which has basically no structure and opportunity to create structure. But that would require that the structure it builds gets dissolved all the time. So I need a great mechanism to dissolve all the time. But behind that, to have a child which can play, you need a stable environment, like the state is for the normal individual. Like trade can't happen if the state is unstable. Like that, I need in my psyche for the ego, for the persona, and I would call the ego the group of all personas. It's like the place you keep all your personas at. You make a folder on your computer with all your personas. That's the ego. Like you click on it and you name it ego. And so I need a substructure behind it, which can be stable and allow that. This is basically done by, how was the word? I'm looking for that word since some time, but I can't find it. It's basically I am dying from heat stroke and being a smoker, which I should definitely stop. Listen to me in the future. Stop smoking. It's not good. Deep breathing. Where was I? The back structure, which is basically oh, I forgot the word again. I'm fluffy. Basically you take the process and layer it out. Like, there was a business word for it. Like, you hire someone in India to do it. I've got it on the tip of my tongue, but I can't find it. Outsourcing. It's outsourcing. You basically outsource it to a piece of paper, which basically means you're taking the process of keeping it in your RAM. If we use a computer analogy, keeping it in your short-term memory and relaying it onto a piece of paper, and thereby, how do I describe it? And thereby hacking time in a sense. Because by writing something down, someone in 200 years can read it. So a piece of text on a paper is time independent. Why I'm getting fried, and I'm saying that because I have fur in my nose, because the inside is full of fur. Yay, yay. You see what I mean. These high-level topics are great and all, but I would like to have them arrayed in a system which makes them easy to digest. Like, the ego can be, there is certainly an analogy for it, which is easy to digest. Like, Jungian psychology is great for building systems and understanding them, but for explaining, I would like something more concise and more digestible. It's basically what the Christian church was doing. Making spirit. Basically, you have a persona, a spirit you make, which has certain qualities. That persona is how you act in the world. And that is backed and stabilized and made possible by the substructure behind it. I think that's what I'm saying. So instead of limiting the persona, I should make a back structure which can allow that. What I need is an anima. It's a mediator between the conscious and the unconscious. A mediator between the persona and the back structure. How I will do that, I have no idea, and this video is 15 minutes. It will take me like 2 hours to upload, because I'm using data, phone data, which is unlimited today. But still, Yeah, that's what I like to do. It's like this high-level structure thing, which you see often in like intellectual things, but I like to use them and apply them. Like that's what they are made for. It's like you have all these blueprints and people go through this blueprint. Language! I'm hitting the thing all the time. And people go through these blueprints, but they don't use them. Like, here is a great blueprint which I came up with, but I will not use it. Like, what? I mean, it's great, I can use it, but you kind of missed the point there, didn't you? I mean, you can do that, it's certainly fun, but you already have it. But that's just me being me and being a fluff ball that thinks around itself. So that was the second video, and they will keep being as strange as they are, I hope. Like, I'm trying to focus less on having a concise, not stream, but how is it from weaving, the analogy? A concise thread, which I can't pronounce. A concise line, a concise storyline. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to have a concise storyline. I'm trying to have something which is mercurial, or like Finnegan's Wake, which actually portrays the way I'm thinking and being, instead of having it filtered and cut down and remarked and compressed and drawn upon. I like to draw upon things, so that will probably happen. It will be transformed, but not in a concise storyline way, which is marketed to a certain audience, if you know what I mean. You could say I would like to be real, which is an oxymoron, I think. Because for that I would have to define what I mean with real, which would be a which would be a box I set up in itself, which would be exactly the opposite of what I want to do. So you get what I mean. It's kind of a paradox in itself. I just would like to show myself developing and dying in my fursuit. That's certainly what I want to do. And kind of have a reflection of my thinking and see how it develops and see what I come up with. Like, I'm building a persona. The lighting is strange. Hello, light. Hey, lighting. Having a persona, trying to build a persona which has the ability to do what I'm looking for. I'm distracting myself. That has the ability to do what I'm. That's not what I'm wanting to say. I want to make a persona which I like. A nice, happy, helpful persona, which is defined really, really clumsily. But a persona I can be happy with. A self which I can look at and be like, I like that person. But also with the tools to go outside it and do mayhem if needed. Because, how was the word? Because innocence in itself is nice, but it's pretty fragile. So it needs some kind of defending agent or some kind of defending structure which allows it my voice is dying, so I'm ending the video, which allows it to recoil from the damage it took, grow, but keep its moral structure. So I have this dualism, this Christian dualism inside the persona itself, and outside of that the psychedelic substructure. I'm ending the video. It's getting hot now, my voice is dying. Like every day. Bye! Have fun in your life. I will end the video now with my hand.